2012, and then I entered into masters, that is 2013 to 16. I completed my masters of dental surgery in field of periodontology. Along with that, I also I did a fellowship of oral implantology and laser dentistry from my own college. So this is the college where I've done my UG and PG, and also it's my hometown. And right now I'm there itself. So to just give a gist, like how did it go? I completed my masters in 2016. 2017 I got married, and in 2020 I was a mother. So I just made this slide to show you the journey. Like it's not only becoming a doctor, like when you have to get into doing BDS, when you come into BDS, after that you feel nahi mujhe MDS bhi karna hai. But later it is like, parents are like, now it's time to even get married. So you give a thought, like हमें masters हो गया अभी मैं, should I marry or should I do fellowship? Because once you complete one step, then it's like now I have to take a second step again. So I did masters in my 2016, and then I got married, and I have a baby last year. Presently, I am settled in Navi Mumbai. I am a consultant at Apollo Hospital and various private clinics across Navi Mumbai. I had a plan to open up my clinic this year, but due to COVID, I have not opened it up. Presently, when I came into Mumbai 2 years back, I got attached to various clinics near my home, and I work as a consultant. Just to give a small gist that I'm very, very passionate about painting. These are few paintings that I would like to just showcase to you. So this was just a small gist of my passion. Now I can't say that I've received lots of accolades to my CV, but there are few achievements that I'm highlighting it to you all so that you understand that that is also important to do it in dentistry. It's not that you have to just complete your BDS, you have to complete your MDS. There are lots of things that you have to do. Just imagine, like you, there are so many students passing out every year. So what makes you unique? What makes you stand out from the crowd is what you do extra, beyond and out of the box. So there are a few things that I keep on doing, and I can just highlight the few ones. I am a brand ambassador at Maharashtra State Media Secretary at Indian Association of International Dentistry. There is a digital online magazine that is Dental Reach. I think you must be knowing few of the students. If not, then you should surely connect to Dental Reach. It's an online digital magazine since 3 years, and it is one of the top ranked in the Google search engine. So in this, you can publish your articles for every month at free of cost. Also, I am an associate editor of Contemporary Research Journal of Multidisciplinary Sciences. Also, I have a lot of love for laser. During my masters, I had my library dissertation topic was on lasers in periodontics. So I converted that into book format at Scholar Press publication. Later, I made it more simplified version and in a handwritten form. So I made a basic of lasers in dentistry and published it in Lambert Academic Publication. So these two publications are at free of cost. If you do any kind of library dissertation in future, or also if you're planning to, like, you can even do it in your bachelor's degree under the guidance of your teachers, you can publish in this both publication. They are very helpful to you. There was an online digital conference held last year, that is DRDC 2020, where I had received first prize for my article case contest. And also I published an article this year, that is mouthwash, the best shield of oral cavity. So that were the few achievements of my life that I've highlighted. Now coming up to the awards. Ideally, they say, is award really necessary? It's not like it's necessary, but yes, when you get this award for the extra hard work that you do, it adds up, then you really want to do extra more work. You want to get more finer day by day. So that makes you little happy, appreciation always makes you to do things more and more. In the year 2019, I had received a award for Buddy Dentist of the Year by FamDent Excellence in Dentistry Award. This is considered to be the dental Oscar, at least in India. Plus, it also has got a lot of value even in abroad. There are many people from abroad also applying for this award. The next was I had got Emerging Speaker of the Year by Indian Health Professional Award, that is IHPA. I have received Runners Up Periodontist of the Year award by Indian Dental Divas Award in 2020. This award is purely only for females in India, where you could apply for the subject that you are mastered in. I received Doctor's Excellency Icon Award by Genesis World Record in 2020. There is one more award that is called as Doctor's Choice Award. Here, basically, this is decided on the reviews that you get from the doctors. It's not from any of the judges or no. This award is purely based by the reviewers, and the reviewers are your doctors because they consider doctors know the doctors best, and it is really free of cost. You can make a page ID on the awards on the Doctor's Choice Award page, and you can tell your colleagues or doctors to add up reviews whenever you do your work. So that is how it improves your credentials in future. So I was the national winner for 2020. I also received the City Winner Award and National Award. We have Future Dent, the academy that is from FamDent. They had conducted a clinical case contest where I had presented my presentation and I had received second award for it. The best one that I am really going to cherish it forever is I received the Periodontist of the Year award by FamDent Excellence in Dentistry Award this year, 2021. So this is what I received just last month. Now, also coming up, like what are the community services that we keep on doing as a doctor? Free dental checkup camp was organized for underprivileged students. Also, online lectures were given for the ONGC group by Doctors Reddy. They had asked me to do so. I had given an oral hygiene awareness lecture to all of them. Now, coming up, like what a typical day is like, it's to just sum up in one slide. I have like you have got your morning clinics to go. You will have surgeries lined up. Plus, I have a lot of online webinars that have been approached by academies, and I'm attached as mentors to many academies also. So I have, because of COVID, we have online webinars going on. Plus, I keep on writing articles on many of these subjects, and I keep doing publishing. Last but not the least, and my very important is like I have to give time to my child plus also my family, as I belong to the joint family. So this is how your typical day is like. You get up in the morning, you have to do a few of your household work, then get back to clinic, come back, again look after your family, plus look after your son. And you are very passionate about working. Like my nature is like it's not about only work, go just do work and come back. I have to do lots of extracurricular activities. Like I keep writing articles, I keep publishing books also, not only for myself, also along with my friends. I keep doing that. So this is how entire day goes off. Why I became a periodontist was I had a lot of love for surgery. Surgery was my prime interest, and periodontist. Very suffer like so that is how my I could say I started liking the subject and I was keen to become a periodontist. So when you get into internship, when you start assisting your PGs, when you start looking up the work, that time is what you decide which field are you more interested. first year, second year, third year, शायद आपको इतना you will not understand, but final year and in internship you can get the idea which field is of your prime importance. Now, to just give a gist about periodontology, what is it? Ideally, a smile is a reflection of your confidence, kindness, communication, joy, success, and affection. So, smile is only not determined by the shape and position of your teeth, but also by the gingival harmony. Always remember the gums are considered as a building foundation of your tooth. So, if you want your tooth to be remain healthy, you have to take care of your gums by any way. And just want to sum up in a line, like, it's a small pink tissue but can make a very big issue if neglected. So what is periodontitis? Basically, periodontal disease, it comprises a group of inflammatory condition of supporting tissues of teeth caused by group of specific microorganisms, resulting in progressive destruction of your periodontal ligament and alveolar bone. So as you could see in this diagram, the left one, that is normal tooth, you have got gums and you have got bones. So when you have got inflammation of gums, that is termed as gingivitis. And when the inflammation of gums progresses to bone, that is called as periodontitis. So it's very simple. Inflammation of gums only, that is G, is termed as gingivitis. And when it is gums plus bones, that is termed as periodontitis. I would like to put a light on terminologies that are used, because when I'll be discussing the cases, it's very important that you understand these terminologies. The most common terminology we use is flap. Flap is a section of gingiva that is surgically separated from the underlying tissue to provide visibility and access to the bone and root surface. What is scaling? You must be heard this term so often, like, cholo, let's get ultrasonic cleaning done from the hygienist or from the doctors. So what is scaling and root planing? It is termed as conventional periodontal therapy. It is a procedure involving removal of your dental plaque and calculus on tooth as well as the root surface. So you have got the ultrasonic scaler that with help of vibration and water flow, it has a lot of mechanism like acoustic streaming and turbulence, water lavage, and the mist is created, and that is how it helps to remove the debris and calculus present on your tooth and root surface. So that is all about scaling and root planing. Now coming up to frenum, it is basically a membranous fold of skin or mucous membrane that supports or restricts the movement of your part or organ. Why I have added this? Because there are various types of frenum in your mouth, such as mucosal, gingival, papillary, and papillary penetrating. Many times you might have noticed when you check the patient, there is a gap between the tooth that is called as diastema. And if you do oral examination, you will come to understand that there is a high frenal attachment. So in that cases, we'll be doing frenectomy. Now there's something called as gingival depigmentation. There are many patients who will come up, when they smile and you'll see that kind of black gums. So that is called as black gummy smile. The main reason you have got that black pigmentation on your gums is due to melanin. So melanin is a non-hemoglobin derived brown pigment that is present at your basal and suprabasal cells of your epithelium. So that imparts brown discoloration to my gums. As in today's era, patients are very, very highly conscious and aesthetic about their smile. So if you will find a lot of patients such coming up to your clinic and asking you to, I want to get my black gums completely eradicated. So in that case, you will be doing depigmentation. So what is depigmentation? It is a periodontoplastic surgical procedures whereby the gingival hyperpigmentation is removed by various techniques. You have got various techniques to do the treatment. You can do it by scalpel. You can do it by laser, that is widely used right now. You can use chemical agents, but they are not used right now because you can't control the depth of action. You can also use cryosurgery, where you use, like cooling agents like liquid nitrogen is used to destroy the epithelial layer. So these are how various mechanisms are used to treat depigmentation. Now coming up to pocket, this is the most common terminologies you'll be using it. So what is pocket? Basically, it is defined as pathologically deepening of your sulcus. So when you place a probe into your sulcus, ideally it is considered, like 1 to 3 millimeters is considered normal. If the sulcus, when you probe and it is around 3 to 5 millimeters, it is called as mild periodontitis. If it is between 5 to 7, it is called as moderate periodontitis. And more than 8 millimeters is called as severe periodontitis. So this is how you categorize periodontitis depending upon your probing depth. So the pocket level attachment, what you measure, helps you to determine the grading of your periodontitis. This is very common. Like you will have patients, like you will have gum recessions. There could be multiple recession, or you will only find, single tooth recession. If you have a detailed oral examination, you will always find that, there is only single tooth recession on canine, mostly on left side. Always make a point to look. Always ask questions like, mostly we have right hand users. Patients are right hand users. So when they brush, they apply more pressure. So the teeth that has got high prominence is your canine. So that will have a single tooth recession. So that is how you have to understand that oral examination is very important. If there is only single tooth recession, you have to ask the patient, are you a right hand user? If so, you have to tell them, like, you're not supposed to use a lot of high pressure. Tell him that you have to use soft bristle brush during brushing. And that is how single tooth recession coverage is also there. Like you can do a root coverage procedures also only for single tooth. So recession is basically exposure of your teeth by apical migration of gingiva. Now coming up to furcation, it is basically invasion of your bifurcation or trifurcation of your multi-rooted teeth invaded by periodontal disease. Now coming up to one more terminology, that is peri-implant mucositis. It is as equivalent as gingivitis of your tooth. If you have inflammation of gums of tooth, it is termed as gingivitis. Inflammation of gums around the implant is called as peri-implant mucositis. So it is an inflammation that involves gums. There is no loss of supporting bone following initial bone remodeling. This condition is usually reversible if you do an early intervention. So in this case, you will find, bleeding on probing and pocket depth more than 4 millimeters. So that is called as peri-implant mucositis. In simple words, you can remember, it is the inflammation of gums around the implant. Now coming up to peri-implantitis, this is equivalent to your term that you use is periodontitis. So it is inflammation of gums and bone around the implant. You will have bleeding on probing. You will have pocket depth more than 5 millimeters and there will be suppuration present. So this is how you understand the terminologies that are used in dentistry. Now, what are the common complaints like patient comes to us in clinic? Like, what kind of patients I mostly go through? I also do general dentistry, but that is very less. I mostly do a lot of my specialty work in Navi Mumbai. Mostly I'll get patients where I'll be having, bleeding and inflamed gums. Patient will come, like, whenever I'm brushing, I'm getting bleeding. And it is long-standing. I'm using proper technique, but that's not going off. And also I'm having a lot of inflammation. So, but obviously there is a lot of inflammation. There will be also a lot of food and food stuck between the tooth. So that will also give you bad breath. So this is what I'll have a lot of patients coming up with problems of bleeding and inflamed gums. The next common problem that I have told you is high frenal attachment. As you could see, there is one is tongue tie case where patient is unable to touch, the tip of the tongue is not touching the palate. So he's not able to talk properly. The speech is absolutely slurred. So we do frenectomy in these cases. The second photo, what you're able to see, you have got gap between two maxillary central incisors. It is due to high frenulum attachment. So in this cases, we go for frenectomy. Now coming up to the cases that come up, such cases come up where you've got highly black pigmented gums. So we do analysis, we tell the treatment options that are available, and accordingly we go for the depigmentation procedures. As I had said you, in this case, like I had got single tooth recession. The patient was right hand user. He complained, I'm just getting single tooth recession. Because of that, I'm having sensitivity problem at that area. And in lower areas, as you could see, there is a single tooth recession. Also, I get such cases that is called as endoperio lesion. You have a deep cavity, and if you don't treat it, but obviously it's going to go for root canal. In that case, you termed it as apical periodontitis. If that is still not treated, patients don't turn up to dentists. That gets exaggerated. It involves periodontium, that is your periodontal ligament, and that forms your endoperio lesion. So how does this happen? Is there any connection? Yes, your tooth is connected to periodontium, your periodontal ligament, by accessory canals, lateral canals, and apical foramen. So long-standing infections who are not getting treated, they undergo endoperio lesions. So this is how the scenario looks like. There are a lot of patients who visit for missing teeth. For missing teeth, you have got various options like, crown. You can go for bridge, you can go for implants or dentures. Most commonly that is used is right now is implant. So now let us have a look about the cases. What are the various kind of cases that we commonly use? This is a case of inflamed and bleeding gums. So patient complained of bleeding gums, inflamed gums and bad breath. So on examination, I found that there were deep pockets, plaque, calculus was present. So in this case, I planned for full mouth deep curettage under anesthesia. So what is curettage? Basically, you have got sets of curates that help to remove the inflamed tissues from the sulcus. So after giving anesthesia to the entire periodontium, we curated it off in section wise, that is quadrant wise we did it. And after recall, this is how the status.
हाय
The
जो भाग
patient
जाती
had
हूँ
completely gone off.
तुझे
Like
पता
he
है
was completely
ये
eradicated and patient
ऑल्टो
was
नहीं है तो अब
very
बनी लो
happy as he
यार मेरे
got
कुछ नहीं कर
that
सकती
back.
जो मेरे बाबा आपको
So this
चलानी
is the
आती है वो
case
वही
where we do
खरीदेंगे
full mouth curettage. If we have got more
सुना
than
टग
5
के अंदर खड़ी
millimeters
है
of pocket, in that cases we would have done up a flap
तो
procedure.
वो
So
सेट
what
से
is
क्यों नहीं
flap?
निकलता
In
मुझे
this
तो कभी
case,
भी
we
नहीं
would have
निकलता
opened up
देख
the
रहे
flap with help of curates. You would have entirely removed the plaque and calculus present, and we would have done sutures. So what is main difference between curettage and flap is in curettage you do not open the flap just from the sulcus with help of your tactile sensation. You do curettage of all the inflamed gum tissues and you remove the tartar. In flap, you open up and you're able to visualize very clearly the calculus and the status of your periodontium, and that is how you later suture it. Now coming to the next phase, that is black gums. So patient complained of dark gums and she was very highly aesthetic, so she wanted to get it done. So on examination, I found that there was a thick biotype and it was dark pigmented gums. So treatment plan, what we done was we planned for depigmentation of gums with diode laser. We had given her option of scalpel also, but as she was very phobic to blood and kind of surgery, we opted her for laser, where you have the main plus point of laser is like you do not require anesthesia, there is no suturing required, healing is very faster, and there is no bleeding at all. So there is a lot of patient comfort with help of diode laser unit. So this is something a new technology that has come up. I can't say that it has replaced scalpel, but yes, it has been widely used in era, and it is trying to get into zone 4. So this is how the look was after using diode laser. You know, like we had operated this with diode laser unit with help of fiber optic cable, and this is how it looked like. As you could see, there is no bleeding present. The blackish thing that is present is only little char tissue that is present. So this was pre-op and post-operative photograph that was taken. For such cases of depigmentation, we try to recall the patient after every 6 months to check if there is any sign of recurrence. Now, coming to the third case is a missing teeth. Patient complained of missing teeth and wanted to replace it. So the treatment plan was implant placement in the region of 3.6 and 3.7. As you could see, we had done flap reflection that I've mentioned. You give an incision, you open up the flap, then osteotomy was done, and finally you had placed the implant. And this is what X-ray looks like after placing the implant. Later, in second stage, that is after 3 months, once the implant gets fuses to bone, now we place gingival former, as you could see in the diagram. When the gingival formers are placed, this is done to form a gingival collar around the implant. That is kept for around 2 weeks, and then you go for abutment trial, you take the impression, and you get a crown. So this is the pre-operative and post-operative photograph. This is how the replacement of missing tooth was done with help of implants. Now coming to the fourth case, that is endoperioral lesion. Patient complained of pain and swelling in lower right back tooth region. On examination, I found that there was decay along with deep pockets with forceps. So what we first planned was, let's first do root canal and then do a flap surgery with forceps. So root canal was completed with forceps, and then I found the healing had resolved with endodontic therapy, and only 20 to 30% was left. Then I opened up a flap. I did a very good deep curettage. I did cleanup, and then it was sutured back again. So this is how it looked pre-op, and then we went for prosthesis placement. This is how it looked pre-op and post-op. Pre-op, as you could see, there's so much of swelling and decay, and this is how it looked. There was entirely the swelling was resolved. We did root canal, and then the cap was placed, and it was absolutely free of swelling. Now coming up to the last case is peri-implantitis. As I had told you, peri-implantitis is inflammation of gums and bones. As you could see, this was one of my colleague from Prosto. She had done the implant placement in 2-1 region. Patient complained of pain and swelling in lower right back tooth region. On examination, we found, like there were threads exposed. So we planned for, first what we planned was we raised a full thickness flap. As you could see, 3 to 4 collar of implant was visible. First we did laser decontamination. So we completely eradicated all the bacteria that is present with help of laser. We did a harvest for the graft, that is, connective tissue graft was obtained from palate. We placed at the recipient site and sutures was placed. This is how it completely looked like post-operative after 2 weeks. Now, these were all the cases regarding perio that I have discussed. Now, small advice for the dental student is, there are 5 keys that I really believe to success. First, you have to be ambitious. You have to keep a goal in your life that what you want to become. Then you have to be very focused, have complete dedication, do hard work, and the main key is like this all will fail if you don't have consistency. So the consistency is very, very prime factor to reach to a success height. If you study today for 10 hours and if you're not studying tomorrow for even 1 hour, that is not going to help you out. So to have anything in your life is something called as consistency, with that same zeal and with same enthu in your life to reach to that goal. So basically, I really feel, like success is something like iceberg illusion. What people see is like, wow, she has reached to such a top and it's so easy for her. It's looking so nice, but it's not like that. In real life, what we have to go through is, you have to do dedication, hard work. You have to even fail sometimes to succeed. You really have to fail sometimes. And something that is called as persistency you have to do, and then that is how you'll be reaching to that top level. Advice for future dentists, if you're going to be just after completing your BDS, is what I feel, you have to learn from the dentist in your town. So when I was doing my Bachelor of Dental Surgery in my internship, was doing locum from the dentist in my town. I used to do 9 to 5 college, and 5:30 to 9:30 was my locum period at his clinic, where I used to even learn from college. But when you come into clinic, it's totally different new world. So all the practical aspects is what you can learn a lot from dentists who are there in your town. You should visit them. You should see how do they work, and gradually when they have confidence in you, they start giving you the patients and you can start working. So you really understand when you come up to the clinic, the scenario absolutely changes. Also, one more important is like you try connecting with other dentists, try to know what are they doing extra in their curriculum. Always present cases at your social media platform, so that helps to grow your CV a lot. I always suggest, students should join Indian Dental Association. So you have got ID membership everywhere.
Sad life in
So
me.
initially, right now also I'm an ID member of Navi Mumbai. So what do they do in a year? They are very clear that they have to at least conduct 5 courses. Or because of COVID, right now we are having everything online. But when COVID was not there, we used to have 5 to 6 compulsory lectures plus hands-on from all the well-renowned speakers. So that is how you gain knowledge also. But at the same time, very important is like, you try to get connected with other dentists. Right now, I don't have my own clinic, but I get pretty good patients because of the connections. So how did I maintain this all connection? How did I build up? By becoming an ID member, by meeting all the other dentists and letting know each other. So this is how you grow your network. Always keep upgrading and learning. It's not like, you have done BDS, you have done MDS, you have done fellowships, so learning. To be frank, learning never stops. Right now, also, even if I'm at this level, I keep on learning. I keep on attending so many online webinars. I'm also presenting, but also I learn from the speakers who are well renowned, and you should keep upgrading yourself. Always try to do something extracurricular activities. I basically go for article presentation, webinar presentation, book publication. Try to do fellowships if you're interested in something. Like many people go for years, they're very interested. So you can do that, or you can do the course, you can learn and understand what is your niche, where are you, what is that are you liking a lot, and try to learn and excel in that field. Now my prime interest is of laser, so I'm very much passionate about it, and I want to really do a fellowship from a very well-renowned university. So that is how I'm trying to upgrade and learn at the same time.
जब हम मिलेंगे
So this is the last section where I'll be just giving you a take-home message. I'm trying to put it up in a pictorial format so that you understand how life goes off. A basic gist. Basically, I believe there are 2 types of people. There's one kind where you will only cry in all the situations. The other is you will try to find opportunity in every situation. So ask yourself, which kind of are you? Are you the one who's really going to crib about everything what you are getting, or you're going to try to find opportunity in all the situations? Next is always focus on the solution, not the problem. If you're focusing on the problem, you will have thousands of reasons for not doing. If you're going to focus on the solution, you'll find 1,000 reasons of doing it. So have that optimistic um, eye for it. Go be purely positive and keep doing it. So unsuccessful people are the one who keep on complaining, and they keep all that load on their heads. But the successful people, they will try to use that as the step and go ahead. So why this is important? You should not crib about what is not happening. I wanted to do this, but I'm doing this. No, you always have to find what positive happened in this. Okay, ये हो गया मेरे से,
बात रह
अब
रही
क्या?
है अभी रुक जा
There is no shortcut to success. So you'll never have that plain road. You'll always have that up and roll. It's a kind of roller coaster in your life, and that is how life goes on. You will have some good days, you will have got some bad days. So every success story starts with a dream. So you always have to dream before dreams come true. That is what I believe. Have a dream, and that is how then you're going to chase it up.
बीगल में
For that, to dream to come true, believe in yourself. That is very, very important. You have to believe in yourself. If you want your patients to believe on you, First, you believe
But that-
yourself, and that is how you can expect the others to believe you. Never say I wish, always say I will, and that is how I'm going to do it. I believe success comprises of this main five things. Always see your goal, understand the obstacles,
अच्छी बात है
create a positive
भाई,
mental
होना चाहिए।
picture,
ये तो
clear your mind of self doubt, always embrace the challenges, stay on track, and show the world that you can do it. Always remember while doing so, failures may occur. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is just a part of it. Failure is an option, it should be an option, but giving up should never be an option. So, whenever you fail in life, just have that positive leap of faith and jump towards the success side, and the game will be yours. Always remember, unlock your potential. Don't feel yourself, you're very low and I can't do it. No, you have come into this world, but obviously you have come to make a change in someone's life, in someone's, patient always treat doctors as gods. So if they treat you like God, you have to be something different to be called as God, right? The first step will be always hardest, but it's okay. Later, it's going to be smooth, and that is how you're going to move ahead. So, start thinking, analyze, plan, try to do it, keep going, and success will be all yours. To end and to summarize, I would like to say a winner is a dreamer who never ever gives up. So, dream big, stay positive, work hard, and enjoy the journey. Thank you so much for your patience hearing. I am really thankful and grateful to Arushi, who has made a point to come up with this new idea and give a dental shadowing to the students. At this COVID, this is really a bliss. These are my personal details. Problem regarding perio, implants, or laser, or if you have any doubts regarding studies, you can always connect me on this all IDs. I'd be there to help you out anytime. Arushi?
Thank you so much for an amazing presentation, ma'am. We learned so much from you today.
Thank you.
Ma'am, you can turn your video on now.
Yeah, I'm turning it on. Yeah, am I visible?
Yes, ma'am, you're visible.
Yeah.
Ma'am, so first of all, first question I would like to ask you is that what would you like to tell your undergraduate self? Like when you were in your undergrad, like all of us, what is that one thing that you would say कि नहीं यार ये ऐसे करना था, ऐसे कर दिया?
What can you just repeat, doctor?
Ma'am, just any one thing that you would like to say to your undergraduate self when now you have lived and experienced. So what is that one thing that you would say?
I would like to just say one thing is, always have that hunger, like I want to do it, I want to learn something. Just imagine, there are so many students coming out of the year every time. So what is going to make you unique? Do you really want to be into that same folk of crowd where, you have done BDS, you're coming out, people open up a clinic and it's all done. Few people join hospitals, few do fellowships. So is it going to be done? What is going to make you unique is the hunger, the thirst of learning, and it should be never ending. Remember, learning is an unending process. Always try to have that thing, I want to learn, I want to learn, I want to learn. So always try to first is, observe. And that is how you gradually learn and move ahead.
Okay, ma'am. I would like to ask one more interesting question that if not a dentist, what else do you imagine yourself being? If not a dentist.
If I was not a dentist, I would surely have been an artist because I'm really passionate about painting. I would have been doing a lot of, like art exhibitions and all and displaying my paintings. So this is how I would have thought about it.
Okay, ma'am, there's one, Harshada is asking about one of the cases. Ma'am, what is the probing depth in recession of gums?
What?
What is the probing depth in recession of gums? I think they're asking that if the gums are receded, then what is the probing depth?
So when you have a recession, actually your probing depth is very less. How do you measure probing depth is from the tip of your gingival margin to the sulcus. So that is your probing depth. In recession, what you measure is something called as clinical attachment loss. And that is measured from your cemento-enamel junction to the base of sulcus. So in recession, you will be calculating in terms of your clinical attachment loss, that is from CEJ to the base of sulcus. When you have got pockets, you measure it from gingival sulcus to the tip of your gingival margin. Have I answered her properly, or is she doubtful still? You can ask me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for answering your question.
Are there any questions from students? You all can come up and ask me directly. I would be really happy to answer you all.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah, tell me, who is this?
Hello. I'm Sunny.
Okay, yeah, Sunny, tell me.
I have a question. When there's a pocket formation, we'll do flap or we'll do curettage?
See, that is what I told you. Whenever you have a pocket depth, you have a grading. What is normal sulcus? I've told you the depth is 0 to 3 millimeters, right? If you have a pocket depth between 3 to 5 millimeter, it is called as mild periodontitis. So in that case, till 5 millimeter, you can go for curettage. Anything above 5 millimeters of pocket is deep pocket. In that cases, you will be opening up a flap. Less than 5 millimeter, it is called as a shallow pocket, and more than 5 millimeters is called as a deep pocket. So that is a demarcating line between the both. Less than 5, go for curettage. Things will get resolved. You're very sure about it. More than 5, it's better you go for flap surgery. That is going to give you better results.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, Nabila Banu is asking, how do we go about a treatment plan for black triangles?
Black triangles, basically, it happens either is because of your tooth structure or it is due to your gums issue. So if you have inflammation of your gums or recession of your gums, in that area you will have black triangle. So there are two modes of treatment. One is by composite buildup or veneering. You will be covering the black triangles. Second, what we do is we go for connective tissue graft. In that area, we do a split thickness graft where you just have an epithelium and little amount of connective tissue. You open it up, you place connective tissue, and you suture it up. So that is how you treat black triangles. In form of perio, you will be using connective tissue graft to treat your black triangles.
Tori hai na?
There are a few questions coming up, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I think, yeah. Tell
So
me.
Mansi is asking, I feel like perio
Is
perio is a
volatile.
very volatile subject. Ma'am, how do we focus while studying?
See, I think anything is volatile if you don't like it. If you like it, it will be surely not volatile. And I think it also depends upon what kind of who is teaching you up, how they are teaching you up, and what is your interest. I still believe in. I always remember one incident when I was doing undergraduation. We had a topic of plaque, right? Everyone has it. So the formation of plaque stages. That was so difficult for me in my undergraduation. I never ever understood. I don't know why. शायद या पता नहीं मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया या जो समझा रहा तो अच्छे से नहीं समझा रहा तो मुझे आइडिया नहीं है बट मुझे नहीं समझ में आया and I had become a periodontist. So in my first year of PG, second year of PG, but of this you have to give lectures to undergraduates. So there was a topic that I got was formation of plaque. And but obviously when you get topics from HOD, you can't say them, like I had not understood that time, so I'll not give. But obviously then I studied it a lot. I made a point that I'll teach in such a manner that it's gonna be through and through the students and they will never ever gonna forget it up. So I made a special notes. I simplified it so nicely, and then I presented up, and they remembered it forever. So right now also people remember, yeah, Dr. Mohini had taught me formation of plaque. इतना simplified version था, बहुत अच्छे से सिखाया था. So I feel, it's about also your liking and how much of simplified format everyone is teaching you.
Ma'am, Ria is asking, being an undergraduate student, what are the extra courses we can do?
as undergraduate students, the courses that you can do, if I come to endo, you have got fellowship of, lot of root canals, they provide fellowship for root canals. You have veneers also, that are the courses that you can go for. When you come up to prosto, you have got courses on full mouth rehabs. When you come up for oral surgery, you have got courses on, like third molar impactions. You have got courses on, like many people can also do cleft lip and management.
Mama,
When
two
you come up to
chapatis
perio,
and
you
two
have got
omelette.
courses on
Two egg omelette.
flaps, like basically flaps
Two
surgeries,
chapatis and two
and
egg
also
omelette.
laser. So this is how our various courses that you can do. When you come up to pedo subject, you have got, sedative anesthesia. Like a lot of pedo patients are treated with sedative anesthesia to have got a better patient acceptance. So there are a lot of various short-term courses that you can do if you're not doing PG.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Are there any other questions?
Ma'am, Mehak Agrawal is saying, Ma'am, I'm a second year student, so I want to know that which extra coaching for MDS is needed to clear the NEET MDS in first attempt.
Okay, see, when I completed, my NEET had come up when I gave it, like in 2013, it all started, the NEET examination, that is National Entrance Test examination. But it came into picture, I think, 3-4 years back. And I personally had not joined any coaching classes. I used to use those books like Dental Bites and Dental Pulse to do it. I used to study each chapter very nicely, and then I used to solve MCQ. So this is how I have studied. In today's, I think, era, we have got a lot of online classes because of COVID. From third year or fourth year, once you start doing the clinical subjects, your actual study starts from day one itself, but the coaching classes are there from fourth year to train you up to to get used to that MCQ mock-up test. So they provide you weekly test, and that is how you can keep doing. That is everyone's preference, that you want to have that self-study or you want to go for personal coaching. I had attempted and cleared my NEET examination, all the examinations that I had given, CETs, in very first attempt.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Are there any other questions like that anyone would want to ask?
Ma'am, there are no more questions in the chat box.
Okay. And later also, if anyone has any problem or they have some doubts regarding, then always connect me on Insta or on the IDs that I've given you up.
Yup. क्या लाया ये तो? Ma'am, I think there are no more questions.
Okay, will do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming up, ma'am. We really appreciate you taking out the time.
Thank you so much. It was very nice to interact with you all, and I really appreciate the kind of initiative that you have taken up to do it in this pandemic.
Thank you
It's
so
really
much, ma'am.
appreciable and commendable.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for your patience hearing, and hope we catch up again next time. I also do a lot of online courses. You can visit my Insta page, and if you want to learn it, we can get connected and do it. I also come for offline courses, but right now because of COVID, everything is on hold. There are a few online courses that I take is on sutures and flaps. If you people are interested to learn, you can surely connect me and we can get ahead. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a good night.
Yeah, good night. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining.